I think the key words were those last ones that were said. Mistake-free.
Well, that's everyone's plan, but you know what happens to good plans when the green flag drops? They usually go out the window. Interesting to see, though, Chandler Smith, pole sitter, he has the option. He's chosen the outside from 2 hours north of here. I assume that's not in Atlanta rush hour traffic.
No.
Talking Rock, Georgia. Rick, population 91.
You think they're all here?
I don't know, but if they are, I think you can get 91 people in Victory Lane. So I hope they are. If Chandler Smith goes to Victory Lane, they could have a town Victory Lane picture. I like that.
Yeah, Marty mentioned earlier there are 6 drivers in the field that are all from Georgia. And so that's exciting that they can be racing here in their home state in front of family and friends.
Yeah, it's 76 drive. I mean, there's always something special. It doesn't matter, you know, stick and ball sports. Even when you play high school sports, winning in your own arena, in your own court. Race car drivers, some never get that chance, right? They're from an area that doesn't have a racetrack. So you can imagine if you were from Georgia, and this racetrack has so many historic memories from, remember this used to be where we crowned the champions for so many years. To think you could succeed here. Every time I see this track from above, it just reminds me just kind of how vast and impressive it is. And this guy, Austin Hill, he makes it look simple. It's anything but. And you mentioned it earlier. There's no thinking, right? It's just natural reaction. That's what he's doing behind the wheel.
And he's hoping that when he gets ready to go up through the gears, they work. That was the issue that they had with their transmission during qualifying after one run where they were the fastest. They had an issue with transmission, had to go change those. That's why they're starting at the back. Will they get to the front? Well, they're going to have to go by Chandler Smith, John Hunter Nemechek. Up through the gears they go. We're racing in Atlanta.
It's good organization on the outside. John Hunter Nemechek lost his partner. He's down there by himself down the back straightaway.
Yeah, he's going to need some help. He's going to try to side draft that outside lane and try to get some help coming from behind. But you can see, as together as that outside lane is, it's going to be a huge advantage. But now they've gotten to the bottom, John Hunter has somebody to follow.
The 8 of Josh Berry decided he was going to move down and challenge for the lead early. Across the stripe, separated by about 1/100th of a second.
Side by side down into turn 1 and 2. Still neck and neck for the lead. Berry on the bottom. Chandler Smith up high down the back straightaway. Organized behind him, Jeff. It's going to be a battle here.
Yeah, it's just no help on that inside line. John Hunter just cannot pull up to Josh Berry. Now he's starting to come up just a little bit, but John Hunter just can't close the gap.
2 car lengths between Berry and John Hunter Nemechek. That 20 on the inside, but it's still Chandler Smith on the outside trying to surge ahead as they go back into one.
Big run on the outside there. Chandler Smith not able to help. They are more organized in that top line. Everybody's starting to move up to the middle. Down the back straightaway, a big push coming on the outside. Josh Berry trying to side draft and slow it down.
As chaotic as it can be around this racetrack, the top 2 are looking good as they run door to door, side by side, continuing to race for the lead here. And on the bottom line, that 8 of Josh Berry, no help. No one pushing him. No one giving him a shove around this racetrack. Up the racetrack he goes, very close to getting into Chandler Smith's side.
Yeah, really close, almost contact right there. I just feel like that bottom lane, the car's not driving good enough for John Hunter to stay in the gas to be able to pull up behind that 8 car. Here he comes now. He's got somebody pushing him. Inside lane is a little better formed up now.
Well, that's somebody behind the 20 is the 19 of Ty Gibbs. Joe Gibbs racing train on the bottom. Will the 20 look inside the 8? No, he won't. 3 wide, gets very narrow very quickly here.
Josh Berry now clear out in front with the help from the 20 car.
The bottom has momentum right here. The bottom.
Spotter TJ Majors giving him information. The bottom's working together, but now this 3 wide's going to slow that bottom down. Contact.
Yeah, contact made. Justin Haley came down to the inside of the 19, and Ty Gibbs said, nope, I'm shutting the door, and there was contact made between those 2.
That was close right there. You got to be careful not to cross that inside line, get penalized, but he got shoved below the line.
John Hunter Nemechek in the 20.
Josh Berry way out in front here. You have to wonder, when these cars do get organized, what kind of run they're going to have up on that 8 car. As you see the contact with Haley down the back straightaway. 3 wide racing there in the back, but the battle for second still tight, allowing that 8 car to drive away.
And I don't think we've seen that this year. Josh Berry running out front comfortably. Still looking for win number 1 of 2023 as the pack back behind him, dicing it up.
Ty Gibbs trying to help his teammate Nemechek clear for second. He does. Now the 20 is clear down the back straightaway. He'll get a run on the 8 car. Down to the inside. Look at the gap, but closing up between first and second. John Hunter right to the back.
And that black car with the orange type nose, that was the 18 to Sammy Smith. He got take 3 wide. He got out of the gas. Now a contest for second as we see Chandler Smith back to the outside of the 20 and get a pretty good run on the leader.
You can already see the difference between this racetrack and Daytona and Talladega. The gaps between the cars is greater. That's because the corner radius is tighter and the cars just don't drive as well. Fairly easy to run wide open at those 2 racetracks. This racetrack, it's more difficult.
Top 2 separating themselves now as John Hunter Nemechek has fallen back 3 car lengths.
Rick, the gaps are greater, but in my opinion, the runs come quicker. Jeff and Dale, while there seems to be a little more space, it seems like the movement fore, aft, and even side to side, much more abrupt than Daytona.
That's right. Here comes a big run. The 20 car, Justin Haley, driving up into 4th place there to the bottom of the racetrack, to the inside of John Hunter Nemechek for 3rd place. Side by side on the turn 2. The run's going to be on the outside. This will be a tough pass for Haley.
Looks like they closed the door for Haley in the 10. And now he's got Riley Herbst in the 98 just outside of him, running almost up into that 3rd line. Haley falling back now as Herbst gets a little bit of a run, pushes Nemechek ahead. We'll see if he can use that momentum.
Everybody's watching that move that Haley made, Jeff, to the inside. A lot of guys will be more timid to jump out of line now.
And Haley, what he tried to do is jump to the inside and then find a hole to pop up into, but there was no hole. See right here, a run to the bottom of the racetrack, but John Hunter's able to stay to his outside.
Austin Hill already up to 14th after starting at the back of the pack while all of this chaos has happened in front of him. There's Brandon Jones in the 9 to his right.
Looks like that 20 car, John Hunter Nemechek, just not comfortable right now.
Smoke coming out
there.
Yeah, smoke coming out of the 07. We saw Maggio.
Also smoke short side.
We'll see what's happening if it's tire rub.
Oh, this gets so tight. You see it, the smoke in the corner does make it seem like a tire rub, but with him taking the bottom lane, any 2 wide contest just doesn't have a lot of real estate.
Rubbing big again.
Mason Maggio in the 07. Falling a lap down and trying to hang on to that car now as it doesn't look like the smoke's coming out as much. Freight training down the backstretch here. Josh Berry still leading Chandler Smith. Riley Herbst, the top 3, is now their nose to tail.
You see these 3 cars right here comfortably running 1, 2, 3 in the draft, and the 20 car, a little gap right there. Just seeing him go way up the track a few times in turn 3 and 4, and you wonder if the bounce of that car just not quite where John Hunter wants it. Giving himself a little bit of room to keep a little clean air on that car, keep that car a little more stable.
Saw Chandler Smith in the 16 checking a little cleaner air just to the inside of the 8. Now Berry run the line that everybody wants. A little bit higher this time through 1 and 2, and that allows John Hunter Nemechek to try the bottom, getting a little cleaner air on the nose.
Yeah, that's just an effort. All these cars, nobody's driving the way they want them to be driving, and that's what they're doing. They're spacing themselves out, giving a little bit of room and then offsetting to get air to the car to make it drive better. At Daytona Talladega, they'd be right up the guy's bumper, but here you need a little bit of air to get the car driving.
They can push here at Atlanta. We haven't seen a lot of pushing yet. Josh Berry out front.
Well, the action here in Atlanta is hot and heavy. Big battle for the lead. Also, Austin Hill flying from the back. It is loud down here, but it is so much fun being in the middle of the action.
It really is, and I'm surprised by the race we're seeing. A little bit more space, as Steve mentioned, between the cars. We're watching a great pack right here race, but the leaders are able to drive away. It's pretty incredible. I wonder if the intensity will pick up. The pack racing will get a little more confined as we get later into the event.
Well, one thing we know, that 21 car, he's down there on the bottom. Marty, Austin Hill is flying to the front.
Yes, and if he pulls off this pass on Justin Allgaier, which it looks like he might, welcome to the top 10, Austin Hill from 32nd. Everyone talked about how his teammate, Sheldon Creed, would be back there to help him. He didn't need the help. Creed's in 18th. Hill is about to go into the top 10. He made a very interesting observation. He said, I'm noticing that I can wrap the bottom better than anyone else. Jeff, how demoralizing is it for the rest of the field when you know Austin Hill started last today, and here he is in the top 10, 21 laps in.
Yeah, everybody in this field knew Austin Hill was going to be coming from the back, but I don't think anyone expected it this quickly. When you have a car that's that fast and drives that good, and it gets spread out like this, it's a major advantage because he can just plant that thing on the bottom and make lap time. He's going to continue coming to the front. He just has the fastest car, and on top of that, Junior is driving better than everybody else.
It's been interesting, though, as he gets closer toward the front of a field, it's going to be harder to pass all of these cars. He's going to need a little bit of help. When he gets side by side, if somebody wants to side draft him, they can make it really difficult. But I believe he's going to get up there one way or another.
So, Steve, we had talked a little bit about the transmission issues. They were fast in qualifying, but look what he's doing with the shifter.
Yeah, you can just see he's uncomfortable. He can't really find out what gear it's in, and there he lets the clutch out in second gear. It really, something doesn't seem right. A crew member, Tim Latiga, gets in, and then some conversation between Creed and Austin Hill. And in the end, both RCR cars had to change transmission. There you see the brand new transmission coming over. It got up to the gears on the restart, or the initial start. We'll just have to see and keep an eye on it. Pace is not going to be in question. Talent is not really in question. He's won the last 2 races here. I love that look right there. I mean, he is working the wheel. It's amazing how little they have to turn it to actually make the corner, and then how much they fight it, getting the belts a little tug. As you go around, you actually get pushed into the banking. It's not that the belts loosen up, it's that you kind of get smaller. You get squished into the seat. Listen, wide open right there.
One in front.
Up front, stacking up though, 8 of Josh Berry. Here it is, a 16 of Chandler Smith, rolling that bottom. He's gonna get a run to the bottom. Let's see what Herbst does. That monster car, that black number 98. Who he chooses to go with could be the difference maker. Herbst chooses Berry. It's gonna be tough for the 16.
Stays right behind the 8s, and so Riley Herbst has chosen the 8 that he wants to help. Now can he take second back over? Sure enough, Chandler Smith drops back. He's going to lose third even. John Hunter Nemechek goes by him. Now here comes Ty Gibbs in the 19. He's going to take the spot away.
I think we're going to see this all night long with that high line. It's a better place to be early in the race. Somebody goes to the bottom. I'm not seeing anybody go down there to help them. They're seeing that as an opportunity to leapfrog that spot. As we just saw right there, a car capable of taking the lead, leading this race, dropping all the way back to 5th.
John Hunter Nemechek up to the 3rd spot now, as Josh Berry has been out front 21 of the 26 laps run. Chandler Smith the other 5. We just saw Chandler Smith start to drop back. He has stopped dropping back in the 5th position. Dave.
So, Rick, it's really interesting. That move was maybe a little late by Chandler Smith. He radioed his team when he was one of 3 cars out front and with a big gap back to the 20 of Nemechek and the 19 of Gibbs. He said, hey, are we out on an island by ourselves? And they said, yes. Go ahead and learn something. Oh, and now Parker's around, guys.
Parker Kligerman in the 48 spins. The caution comes out.
Left rear looks flat. It looks like it was flat early.
4 tires.
There's damage to the quarter panel that would kind of show up from a flat tire. You see it right there, already down, and you see the folded up behind it. At the speed of this spin, I would imagine this was a left rear tire.
So Parker Kligerman straightens it out. He'll make his way onto pit road, but a wild ride for the 48. Left rear tire is down. Parker Kligerman goes around, And the caution comes out. All right, Junior, Jeff, guys, get back up here to the booth. They don't need your help on pit road. NBC Sports coverage of NASCAR on USA is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Progressive. Save when you bundle motorcycle, RV, and boat insurance. Visit progressive.com. Caution comes out for Parker Kligerman, losing the left rear tire on that 48, and he goes around. They came and changed the left tire, but Steve, it looks like it is down up here against the wall.
Yeah, unfortunate or fortunate, depending on how you look at it. You could tell he feels something. He drives up the racetrack. The lettering is starting to come off it. You can see the car moving around, and in the end, the car just comes around when the actual tire carcass comes off the tread part. A little bit of damage to the quarter panel, but could have been very easily more damage than that. Contact with the outside wall. So unfortunate to have a flat tire, but very fortunate to not have more damage for the 48.
Kligerman currently scored a lap down, but as you mentioned, tires all up, and still the body doesn't have a lot of damage. We see, is that Ty Gibbs?
Well, yeah, so 10 to go in this stage. You could pit here and then not pit at the end of the stage, and I think that's what you're seeing with Ty Gibbs. He's not running for points, so they're using a little bit of a strategy call, Marty.
Yeah, and I think that's the play here for Jason Ratcliffe. They don't really have anything at stake in terms of the points, so come in here and then get some tires and your fuel as well. Everyone talking about how free the car is in the middle of the corner, and especially on the bottom. That's what they're all dealing with. Track bar adjustment for them, Dave.
Colton Custer gives up 7th position, Marty. He wanted a big adjustment too, especially at the beginning of the run. 2 free, so 4 Goodyear tires, Sunoco fuel, and a chassis adjustment. So at the beginning of that run, the car's a little bit more under it.
Off pit road, Sam Mayer able to get by the 19 of Ty Gibbs, and looks like Mayer's going to win the race off of pit road. We'll have a restart, and it will be a sprint to the end of stage 1. Less than 9 to go here in stage 1. There you see Sam Mayer just a nose ahead. Ty Gibbs coming off pit road. NASCAR Fan Rewards is free to join. Earn points all season by doing what you're doing right now, watching races. Or you can answer trivia, playing fantasy, buying race tickets, and more. You save your points, trade them in for free tickets or autographed merchandise. There's plenty to get. Visit NASCAR.com/fan rewards. Our aerial coverage tonight brought to you by Pods. Moving this summer, save up to 30% at pods.com today. Beautiful shot looking down at Atlanta Motor Speedway as the lights are on. Not only now coming off the pace car, but lights on around the racetrack. The chews as they go either to the inside or outside lanes. We get ready for the restart. Marty, it seems like Austin Hill has been working pretty hard behind the wheel.
Yeah, it would seem like everything's perfect, right, Rick? 32nd is where they started. They're running 9th right now, but is there an issue? Listen in.
But the stuff's not working properly. Like it's like my air is blowing, but all it's blowing is like whatever the heat is outside. It's not blowing anything cool. So I have air coming through, but it's like really, really hot air.
So, Steve, if your driver tells you that he's getting hot air blowing on his face, how concerning is that here in stage 1?
Well, it's not a physically demanding racetrack as much as a Bristol, but the mental concentration required is extremely high. So anything that makes you more uncomfortable is going to make the task harder for the 21 of Hill. Also making the task harder, the 19 of Ty Gibbs. You're going to see kind of in the top right, you see right there, that tire gets held. This tire does not. It bounces back and goes out of his pit box into another pit box. That's what's now considered an uncontrolled tire. So he'll go to the back of the field.
So after coming to pit road, hoping that strategy was going to play into his hands, that penalty puts him at the back of the field for the restart. Josh Berry will be on the outside. John Hunter Nemechek on the inside of row 1. We'll see Riley Herbst right on the back bumper of the 8 of Berry as they go back up through the gears. And back to racing here at Atlanta. 6 laps remaining in stage 1.
Very organized push on the top lane between the 98 and the 8. You see the space between the cars on the bottom, led by the 20 of John Hunter. That's that blue nose, white roof number 20.
Looked like Chandler Smith in the 16 was going to get to his back bumper, but couldn't quite get there, as we see Riley Herbst running in that second lane.
And remember, the top 10 or 12 cars decided to stay out, so they're still on old tires. The one of Sam Mayer, first car off pit road on tires. He's back about 5 or 6 rows.
John Hunter Nemechek now trying to clear that 8 of Josh Berry. Not going to be able to do it as Berry surging back in front on the outside.
The style of racing is just a little bit different. Jeff mentioned it. Daytona, Talladega, you will literally see physical pushing. Here, there's a little bit bigger gap, but the help is still the same, and it's still drafting. You want a car in your lane, a car behind you pushing the air, as now you see the 8 getting that push from the 98, the Monster Energy car up top of Herbst. Chandler Smith, though, now comes to push the 20. It's like an accordion. They keep moving back and forth.
We see the 51 there of Jeremy Clements, that patriotic paint scheme. Also giving the 10 a shove of Justin Haley.
Losing ground on the bottom, the 11 of Daniel Hemrick. He's back to that bright yellow car of Brandon Jones.
You'll be all right here.
Under 3 to go.
And now it comes down to, what are you willing to do to try to win a stage? I know they're trying, but still kind of give and take. Only 2 wide. We haven't seen 3 wide. As now the 20 tries to shortcut a little bit, a low, shallow entry. Oh, and he slides up 3 wide in the middle.
Drifts up, and so falling back is John Hunter Nemechek. That opens the door for Chandler Smith. He's now side by side with Riley Herbst. Josh Berry out in front. And 2 to go.
That all came from that low, shallow entry. It hurt his corner entry. He had to put more wheel in it. The car just couldn't track in the corner, and he slid up to the middle. And if you could believe it, Austin Hill from dead last now is the 2nd car on the inside. That red, white, and blue 21 on board with him now, that Bennett transportation camera.
On the back by 2, still even top.
I mean, if he wins this stage, Rick, it would be a lot in one more lap. But even what he's done has got to just put shock through the field.
Well, it's got to be demoralizing for this field that he starts in the back and already he's inside the top 5. Final lap of stage 1. Josh Berry trying to finish it off. The dominant performance up to this point.
98's going to have a huge run right here into 3. What does he do with it? Is he going to be able to get to the outside of the 8? He is. Will it continue to start finish?
And looking to the inside, he's got Smith. Berry gets enveloped as he comes to the line, and it's going to be Riley Herbst winning stage 1.
And that move came all the way back off turn 2. He backed up to the nose of the car behind him, got that energy, but a great job of the driver of the 98 to be able to straighten that wheel and jump to the quarter panel of the 8, making the difference.
First career stage win for Riley Herbst. So it was Herbst that makes the move to the outside. Chandler Smith was going to the inside. Josh Berry didn't know where to block. He ended up second. NBC Sports coverage of NASCAR on USA is brought to you by Credit One Bank, a credit card company. Under the lights here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and I think the show was going to be, can Austin Hill make his way from the back to the front? Let's go to the Peacock pit box, bring in KP and Brad. Guys, did you think that Austin Hill could get in the top 5 in one stage?
Tell me, Brad.
No.
Tell me.
No, I did not. I mean, I thought he would get to the top 15
Yes.
and stall out. He got to 10th and stalled out a little bit and then just kept moving forward. I'm absolutely shocked, and I think these guys are horrified to see that 21 run 5th.
The way his car handles is how he got to that point. He wraps the bottom of this racetrack in 3 and 4, and dead in the center of the corner, he picks up a car length, the car length. If they get him 2 wide and 3 wide, they kind of bog him down because he doesn't have the run up off the corner. But I have been totally impressed the way he's worked traffic, the way he's been patient to get where he's at. Marty?
KP pit stops here at the end of stage one. Josh Berry led 34 laps, but does not get the stage win. He'll be on the top of your screen. Says just needs rear security, and it's tough to run the bottom later in the run. As Rick mentioned, first ever stage win for Riley Herbst. How about that? He too saying the car way too free on the bottom. He said it's actually better in turns 1 and 2 than it is in 3 and 4, Dave.
The pride of Talking Rock, Georgia, 21-year-old Chandler Smith says the handling is perfect. So there'll just be 4 Goodyear tires, so no gill fuel. We'll see if his team can help get him from 3rd to 1st off of pit road. No, that won't happen. Jeff Burton rolls by 1st, followed by Riley Herbst, and here comes the rest of the field.
Riley Herbst, after winning stage 1, comes off of pit road just behind Burton, and we'll see how he will restart. Throw Atlanta into the hat of cities that have had great sports histories, and so many greats have come out of Atlanta and the things that they have seen. The Olympics were held here. So many great teams and successes that have come from Atlanta, Georgia, and NASCAR has been here really since its inception. We're celebrating 75 years, and for 75 years there have been races here in the Atlanta area. Fans coming out to enjoy it tonight.
You see that front door right there, Rick?
I did.
Man, that caught my attention. I won't lie.
You perked up quite a bit when you saw that.
Sat right up.
Dave.
With a lot of cars staying out, Chandler Smith will be among those buried deep at the restart. There was a little discussion after the pit stop.
Sorry, Jack, man. Yeah, they all got brownie faces on right now, but we're going to have one more shot at it. So, took a long stop there. We lost our track position.
Crew wasn't real happy with that. Frowny faces right now, but they'll have another shot.
You see a little bit slow on the left, but to be honest, you know, they were going to lose track position anyway because that wave of cars that pitted at lap 31 were going to stay out. So the best that the 16 was going to restart is probably maybe 10th or 12th, currently in the 16th. So I only call it maybe a 3 or 4 position loss with the slower stop.
See the stage points that were earned, top 10 earned points, those that are running for Xfinity Series points. That's why Haley has a dash next to him. He won't be receiving any points.
A lot was made about the 21 of Austin Hill, and now it's his teammates' turn with 2 of Sheldon Creed at the point.
Creed on the outside. Cole Custer, most recent winner in the Xfinity Series, on the inside.
Got to be very careful as you see them fan out. Remember, the white and red line on the inside of the track is out of bounds. Like at Daytona, you cannot go below it to advance your position.
Outside line working well together. Sam Mayer pushing Sheldon Creed. Ty Gibbs to the inside. Remember, they had an issue. Tire getting away from them, but he's been able to work his way up now into the top 6.
You now have a new set of guys in the front. They don't have experience running in the front today. You see that big move right there by Ty Gibbs to make it 3 wide on the bottom. It looks way more aggressive right now than it did on the initial start also.
Sheldon Creed fighting back on the outside. Cole Custer trying to hang on to that top spot. Sam Mayer drops back just a bit right to the bumper of the 18, and so Sammy Smith tries to give him a push. Gibbs now the second car on the inside, but getting challenged. 3 wide they go as Ryan Sieg, another Georgia native, moving up to the inside.
Well, Gibbs put Ryan 3 wide a few laps ago, so Ryan repays the favor with an opportunity to move into 3rd place there, Rick.
Now Gibbs trying to stay right behind the 39.
Back here.
4 wide. Real
close.
Close there.
Jed Burton in the 45 car almost clipped.
Yeah.
Jed's trying to get this high line, Rick. He's lost a lot of momentum trying to get up here and force these guys to push him back up front here. Side by side with Ryan Sieg.
Sieg trying to take the lead away. Sheldon Creed on his outside. Sieg falls back right to the bumper of the 16. Chandler Smith gives him a little push using the air, and Sieg once again surging on the inside.
Only 3 cars on the inside line. Everybody stuck in the outside.
Ryan Sieg, the older of the 2 Sieg brothers running today. Kyle, his younger brother, 14 years younger. As now we see the 21. Here comes Austin Hill.
There's a lot of energy.
Oh,
with
the
that
39 loose. Did you guys see the bobble in the 39 car? He backs up to the 16. We got a spin here, the 31. Big save.
Parker Retzlaff. He slides but doesn't get turned around, and the caution comes out.
I'm all right. I would say, bud.
Yeah, what looked like a crash, he ends up straightening it out and continuing on. But the caution does come out. That means another restart.
So here's Jeffrey Earnhardt on the outside of Jeb Burton coming through turns 3 and 4. And Jeb is almost in a 4-wide situation here momentarily. The air from the 7 pushes him up the racetrack, almost clipping the 45. That was a very, very close call there for everybody. Here's the caution right here, the 20 sliding up the racetrack. John Hunter in the 20 car has been struggling a little bit in my eyes the whole race, chasing this car around. And now that he's way back in traffic, guys, that's even more apparent as he gets up the racetrack into the 31.
Well, we've seen it out of his teammate right early on. The 18 of Sammy Smith lost some track position, and once he got to about 8th or 10th, he was completely out of the gas. John Hunter, to your point, Dale, had a chance in that clean air, right? But now that he's in the back, whatever he is fighting, I'm sure it is much worse.
And the 39 car we saw on the inside trying to pass for the lead, Ryan Sieg, he had a moment too just before the caution come out. Well, that race car up in front in clean air, Steve. So these cars are a real handful for all these drivers.
We'll reset the field and get ready for the restarts. Hands full there for Parker Retzlaff in the 31.
Yeah, boy! Yeah, baby! Hell yeah! This is huge!
No rest for the wicked and a hard-working Georgia man. Chase Elliott will join his father as the only Georgia-born driver to win at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
The thrill of victory for the hometown favorite, Chase Elliott.
Can he do it again? It's racing in prime time. Tomorrow night, right here on USA, Countdown to Green kicks us off at 6:30. And Cup Series racing at 7. NASCAR America Post Race Show on USA and Peacock. And that will be right as the checkered flag flies for tomorrow night's race.
Well, the stage is set, Rick, right? Because with Chase Elliott having to miss those races due to injury and one due to suspension, mathematically he can get in on the playoffs. He's even probably looking okay on points as he keeps gaining them. But the stage is set to be winning in your, home state, advancing into the playoffs. It would be quite a storyline.
Did it a year ago, wants to do it again. As we're getting ready for the choose.
How about Ryan Sieg in the 39? When we talk about a race like this being an opportunity for all these different drivers and teams, while we truly believe it, we think a little bit of attrition, a little bit of good luck, a little bit of something else. It's been anything but for the 39. It's just been a great driven race. I mean, He's methodically worked his way up, a couple aggressive moves, and here he is leading the likes of an RCR car in Creed, a Colleague racing car in Chandler Smith, a Stewart Haas racing car in Cole Custer, the other RCR car, and then a Joe Gibbs racing pair. So impressive run for a small team.
A small team, you mentioned. It's a family-owned team. Ryan Sieg Racing. His brother's now racing for him. But right here in Georgia, think about that story. I mean, we saw Chase Elliott win in front of the Georgia crowd, but think about a Georgia-owned team. Ryan Sieg, their shop is right here in Georgia, and so a great situation if Ryan Sieg can continue to be as aggressive as we've seen already to get the lead. Kim.
And Steve mentioned the word opportunity. That's exactly what the team told me. They said this is an opportunity race to win and an opportunity to turn their season around. Should not surprise you to see them at the point. They ran in the top 10 in the spring, spent time at the front of the field, Dave. He said, I had to take a big breath after all that action at the front of the field, just a little more stability the next time they're in.
Black and green 16 running a second in line on the bottom line there from 13th up to 3rd. And then Chandler Smith told his team, coming to you. Just kidding. He's so loose, Marty.
Austin Hill, so impressive to watch, Dave. In the top 5, what does he think of the track tonight? Listen.
The track's definitely way different than it was in the spring, and cars are just moving around a lot. It's really slick. Seems like you can get on top of the rubber and you just feel like it just feels real greasy. Like you just don't feel like you have the confidence to move around like you could before. So
Jeff, are you seeing what Austin Hill is saying, that these cars are a little more hard to handle tonight here under the lights at Atlanta?
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about it. That's why we're seeing the gap between cars. Got real aggressive on that restart, but there's no question handling is going to come into play. It has already. And, we talked about Ryan Sieg. I think he caught a little bit of a break right there. I thought he was in a little bit of trouble on the bottom. Caution came out, and now he's leading the race.
Ryan Sieg and Creed making up row 1. Once again, door to door as they go up through the gears, and Creed getting a little bit of help on that inside from Chandler Smith. He is going to clear the outside line. Can he hold on to this lead?
He's going to jump up in that outside line and block any run they're going to have. Smart move. Now we got 2 clear on the outside. Sieg to the inside. Back trying to get the lead from the 2.
Ryan Sieg aggressively going to the bottom of the racetrack. Cole Custer on that high side. He's going to give Sheldon Creed a little push.
That's the same move that Sieg made earlier. That caution came out. He ended up with the lead. Let's see how it works out for him this time. The bottom lane is formed up really nice, but the cars drive a little better in the outside lane.
Creed trying both lanes now, blocking that high line of the momentum. Here comes Sieg on the bottom, and Creed comes down to block that.
What a shot this is. Right on the roof of the 21 of Hill is the 2 blocks. The 00 of Cole Custer in the high line. Here comes the 39 at the bottom. Back to the battle for the lead. Ryan Sieg needs a little help down there, though, Rick.
Yeah, Creed couldn't get down there to block that late surge that we saw out of Ryan Sieg, but Sieg doesn't have a lot of help there. Chandler Smith can't get up close enough to give him a push.
Big side draft from that 2-car Creed. Right in the middle of the corner, turned down on the 39. Took his momentum away from him. Now he's waiting for a push from Custer.
See on the left a mix of manufacturers, some Chevrolets, some Fords, some Toyotas, but no one seems to be able to work together. They're kind of offset, all in the wrong spot. Seems like every man for himself a little bit.
But it stays door to door. As Sieg now surging a little bit ahead, had Chandler Smith give him a little bit of a push, but that outside line with the momentum. Here comes Creed once again. And again, the separation, about a 1/10 of a second, less than a 1/10 of a second between Creed and Ryan Sieg. Sieg out front again.
Side draft coming on this 2-car off the 39 down the back straightaway. Almost clear. Good side drafting to counter it by the 39. And this 21 right here, Austin Hill, is right in the deck lid of the 00. Sometimes offset to the left. That has to make Cole Custer's car extremely uncomfortable entering the turns.
Cole Custer, now he's all over the back bumper of that 2 of Creed.
When somebody's right up behind you, you kind of want them either dead direct behind you or a little bit offset to the right. When they're on that left rear, it kind of moves your car around a little bit. But the 21 of Austin wants to see where he's going. Look at him, he's gonna try to go, oh, the 8. Josh Berry gets loose right there in the middle.
He slides up in between numerous cars, one of those being the 19 of Ty Gibbs. He's on the outside of this 3 wide.
And how about right behind Ty Gibbs? That's the 36 of Weatherman. A great run for the driver, the 36, yellow out.
Cautions come out. And a lot of damage to the 44 of Greg Van Alst.
Greg won the ARCA race at Daytona earlier this year. Had a little bit of issue in qualifying, as now we see flames kind of burst out of the back of the car. He has definitely made some.
If you need to get out, you can. But you're going to have to take a ride to the.
Yeah, it's contact with the fence. You can see the paint and the wheels. Looking like a contact on the left side there. Somebody has.
Yeah.
Put in contact, two tire marks right there, one on the front and the back.
A lot of fluid coming out from underneath the car too now.
Yeah, it looks like it's coming out from the back of the car.
Yeah.
That's odd.
Be gas. Would be the only thing that would come out from the back, right?
Well, it's got the rear end fluid, oil, the oil tank's back there.
Yeah, okay.
In front of the rear tire.
Oil tank?
We'll be honest, there's kind of fluid coming from everywhere.
Yeah, now it is.
I was thinking, Rick, if that's your rental car, it's been hit on every corner.
It's
You're not
in trouble.
Yeah.
AMR safety crew immediately down there. Check on Greg.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they don't seem to have a major panic about the fluid in the back.
I know, whatever's coming out back there is a lot.
It is. It continues to run.
You see a filter line or something. See that, Steve, right there?
Yes.
Is that the trailing arm?
I want to know if maybe he didn't have a mechanical issue before he hit the fence.
Yeah.
Or if it's moved enough. Let's see here. He's kind of doing his own thing.
A little bit loose, corrects. Now we're headed up the track.
So the sparks come out there.
And then you just see the damage. I don't see it's not like it's tracking a ton of fluid right there, though. So I think maybe the fluid is a result of the impact.
Yeah, it probably knocked when it hit the right rear, it probably bit the Panhard bar.
Yeah.
And then it got into the rear end cooler.
Rear end cooler, oil tank, to your point, Jeff, right? Once the truck arm and track bar bends.
I've wrecked enough stuff to kind of know that.
I was going to say, that was like some, definitely some CSI Miami type stuff. You were going piece by piece on the wreck.
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
spring.
There's a front spring, though. If you ever want to know what a front spring looks like, you're getting ready to see it as it rolls out.
Yeah. And there's a rubber bladder in that fuel cell. So it'd be very rare if there would be any fuel coming out. So the 44 has brought the caution out. The flames underneath for Greg Van Alst.
to break that 11 caution record.
I mentioned earlier the 75-year history of NASCAR has really had Atlanta right in the center of everything. Steve, you had mentioned where the championship used to be determined here at Atlanta, but so many great memories from this area and stock car racing.
So the champion used to get on a float, like a tractor trailer flatbed, and you would take a lap. And at the beginning of the year, all you dreamt about was, man, a lap on that float with the team and the trophy. It was so cool.
Well, I know who would be on a flat if it was IndyCar. It would be Alex Palou, because right now he has been dominant. He's the points leader. He's looking to make it 4 straight wins in a row. The NTT IndyCar Series returning next weekend when they race on the streets of Toronto. Race coverage July 16th only on Peacock. And Alex Palou has been dominant.
He has not lacked pace.
No.
My goodness.
No. We are enjoying NASCAR Xfinity Series racing from here in Atlanta. The Alsco uniforms 250 about to get back underway. There are only 14 laps remaining in stage 2. Another restart coming up, and Ryan Sieg, Sheldon Creed 1 and 2 right now. Before we get the green flag, let's check back in with the Peacock pit box. All right, guys. So this is kind of the appetizer for tomorrow. What are we expecting tomorrow with the Cup cars?
Yeah, I think it's been interesting to watch, Kyle. And the one thing I've noticed tonight is from about 3rd back to 12th, the dirty air is so prevalent.
Yes.
I mean, you can't go anywhere. And so these guys, when they have to make a move, it's usually a precarious move.
Yeah.
You've got to be forceful when you're going. So tomorrow, it's going to exacerbate that thought, I would think.
Yeah, listen. We see it with this car, and there's only 5, 6, 10, 15
Correct.
up front. Tomorrow, we're going to see 32 of them up front. And so it is so much more.
Yes, sir.
The dirty air, the moves, the quickness of the moves, the way things are. I am fascinated to watch these guys run 2 and 3 wide around this place. Yeah. I drove this place many years ago. I thought you could only run single lane, okay? So I will say that. So it has been really exciting. But I think tomorrow we're going to see a lot of the same things your car is going to have to handle to win this race tomorrow night.
Yeah, I agree with you. And tonight, we'll keep watching this thing. It's going to be fun. I don't know where that winner's going to come from, but Rick, I think tomorrow is going to be even better. But right now, we got a great show.
We do. And if qualifying is anything as far as an indicator of what tomorrow's going to be like, they had their hands full in qualifying. Single cars working around the track for the Cup Series. We saw how the 44 of Greg Van Alst had some damage to the car. Let's take another look here, and this time we'll see where some of that damage came from.
See the blue car there getting loose, sparks flying, and now this is after he's lost control. It's hitting the door there, it's turned right into the outside wall.
That is a tough angle to hit, and we saw the damage on the car. Jeff was kind enough to break it down
piece by piece.
Piece by piece. And it's always scary. You mentioned it, Rick. So the fuel cell, right, it's a metal can, a bladder within the can. I'm not going to say impossible. Rarely do we see fuel come out of one of these, but that doesn't. I mean, the rear end grease, you have an oil tank back there at the front. You have obviously the engine oil, power steering, so many different fluids that can catch fire and heavy, heavy damage. You see the pieces of the wall stuck in the wheel.
So a lot of speedy dry went down, and so they're cleaning that up. While they're cleaning that up, let's get a few updates from pit road. We'll start with Dave.
Running in 6th position, Rick, Justin Haley lurking in 6th there, the 24-year-old from Indiana. Now in his 3rd full-time year in the Cup Series, so he doesn't race Xfinity very often. This is his 4th start of the season, and one of the other starts was right here at Atlanta. He likes this type of racing. He will be running tomorrow in the main event. He'd like to get lots of experience laps today. He would like it to end up in victory lane, Marty.
Dave, Justin Allgaier finally in the top 10. It's been a tough go tonight. What's going on? Listen to the radio.
It is unbelievable how chaotic some of these drivers are. The problem is if I got a lift and not run them over, then you either A, get run over behind, or B, you kill your momentum, and I don't have any suck-up ability to be able to catch anybody.
So, Kim, that's the payoff that we talked about. They worked really hard on the handling. He said the handling in the 7 car is excellent, but he doesn't have that ability to pull up to cars right in front of him.
Well, what a roller coaster of a day for Parker Kligerman. Early in the race, went a lap down after a tire went down. They put themselves in position for the free pass. They were also mired with some radio issues. They finally cleared those up. He's been able to work his way back up to the 14th position. Right now, Parker just saying he's loose, but also lacking front grip as the sun has gone down and the evening has taken hold of the Speedway. Just goes to show you, though, unless you are in the garage, you are never out of the race at a super speedway.
So we saw Parker Kligerman having a left rear tire go down, went around. They got that fixed. And it looks like a few cars might be making their way onto pit road. Headed your way, Marty.
Yeah, kind of the same strategy move we saw at the end of stage 1, Rick. There's 12 laps to go here in stage 2, so Riley Herbst is going to come to pit road from the 11th position. Car has been really good, just a little too free on the bottom of the racetrack after winning stage 1, the first ever stage win for Riley Herbst. So going to come get their 4 Goodyear tires right here and see if this strategy play helps them out, Dave.
Just talked about Justin Haley. He's going to pit here in the 10 car for 4 tires and fuel. Also pitting from 4th place is Chandler Smith. He talked to his crew. He said, I need just a little bit of adjustment unless this is our last pit stop. Then I need a little bit more, guys. 94 to go. I've heard 76, 77 maybe. With caution, some of these cars may not pit again.
Well, it comes down to what you think the value of tires are. We hear a lot of drivers talk about handling. The cars with fresher tires do look like they can run the bottom and make ground. So I think all of these guys are thinking you can't run the final stage on a set of tires anyway. While they'll physically hold up, you'll be slipping and sliding so much, you know, they're going to stay out at the end of this next stage, knowing they can't make the end of the race on fuel, which can be scary. I have done that a couple times, and it really backfired. But they assume that we have seen a few cautions. There were so many cautions in the spring. I think it's a safe bet and a pretty sound bet for these drivers to say, hey, let's get halfway through that final stage. We'll get a yellow, and we'll put our final set on here, or on then, and we'll actually be cycled to the front. You know, the best way to stay out of the mess is stay in front of it. That's usually the theory, but we have seen some wrecks start at the front of these races.
See the lights on. I had mentioned earlier how Ryan Sieg, a Georgia native, was up in front of the field. Well, actually, literally in front of the field. The pace car driver is Jason Brownlow, and he is from Gainesville, Georgia. So does that make it 7 drivers in the field now that are from Georgia? Because we had 6 race car drivers, and now the pace car driver is also from Georgia.
Well, he's led the second most amount of laps. Josh Berry's at 34.
Yeah.
Pace car's at 28, working on 29.
Yeah, a lot of laps already under caution. The choose rule in play. And so Sieg has chosen the outside line once again, as Sheldon Creed will be on the inside.
And look at the, when you look at that choose rule, I mean, look at that. You got Weatherman continuing that great run back there in row 5. Weatherman actually, Kyle drives, he's the sim driver for Hendrick Motorsports. They have a Xfinity Series driver that kind of goes and runs through a lot of their stuff at the Chevy simulator. So good opportunity to work with a bigger organization.
I had mentioned Georgia drivers. One of those involved in the most recent incident was the 08 of Mason Massey. He's from Douglasville, Georgia. His paint scheme actually is kind of paying homage to Bo Slocum, a race car driver, probably made the biggest bounds and strides in the ARCA series, passed away at the age of 26 after his battle with cancer. But Bo Slocum would come back and mentor a lot of the drivers, and a lot of these drivers that are on this list right here that ran Legends cars here, because Bo Slocum would come back and say, you know, perseverance is big. You guys got to fight through anything you can and continue fighting, and that's what Mason Massey was telling me earlier, is that's what he took away from all of the kind words that he got from Bo.
Well, this race is going to be a fight in front of him. If we just look at the full field, I mean, look at this shot right here. All the cars still in the race. I know we've had some yellows, but you know, as we ride on board with Jeff Burton and the state water heaters, you see all the rows and rows of cars, just not a lot of attrition yet. I feel awful to say that because I feel like I've jinxed it.
You may have just jinxed the field. So Ryan Sieg on the outside, Sheldon Creed on the inside, waiting for the green to come back out.
Ready, green, 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 green.
Pretty good start there on the outside line. 2 cars trying to do everything he can to slow him down because he doesn't have a whole lot of help. But here it comes, the 21 finally to the back bumper.
And those are teammates on that inside line, Richard Childress Racing. And I have to believe that 21 is the car you want pushing you.
Man, Ty Gibbs dancing around behind him on that inside line.
Now these drivers, these Xfinity drivers, they're not allowed to lock bumpers at Daytona and Talladega, but they can here. But they don't, because of that, Junior, they don't have a whole lot of experience in doing that and do not know how to use it as well as the Cup guys do.
Creed in the 2 goes to the top of the racetrack in front of Sieg. Leaves his teammate on the bottom to work by himself, and he's doing a pretty good job there holding these cars at bay. Sometimes when you're running all by yourself, you just squeeze up against the door of the car beside you, and it can kind of hold you in position. You won't gain, but you won't lose. And now through the corner, you get away, you drive around the bottom, you move forward. So watch Austin in this 21 car as we ride on board. It's hard to run that car on the outside tight through the tribal, but down the back straightaway, you can do that. Look at this car on the bottom of the racetrack, performing so well. He talked about this in the first stage, how well his car ran the bottom.
The problem is he runs the bottom so well, the people behind him can't do it with him. So he drives away from his help. There's Josh Berry behind him in that A car, and he just cannot stay with the 21 to help him.
And Creed, we'll see if he goes up to block the momentum of Sieg. He runs to that high line. That leaves his teammate down below.
Oh, the 19. Josh Berry did not know that the 19 was there. They go down into the turn, almost 3 wide. Ty Gibbs has the lift. Little contact with the right rear there, puts the 36 car in the fence. Weatherman with left front damage now.
Battle for the lead now as Austin Hill had surged ahead, and now Creed coming back on the outside. Still 3 wide behind him. Patriotic paint schemes out of the 2 and 21. Richard Childress Racing leading the field here in Atlanta. Under 5 laps to go in stage 2.
Walk together outside of you now. Your top of the 39, 1.5 to your help.
Josh Berry making that inside line work now as he closes in on the 21.
Make him find you. Make him find you, Ford.
Spotter's so important in this style of racing, and one of the best at it is watching out for Austin Hill, Derek Nealand right now.
Big push on that outside lane. It's amazing to me that 21 can run down there by himself that well, especially with a push down the back straightaway from the 39 to the 2.
I'm impressed by anything that somebody does on the bottom because the outsides can just gang up on you. So for the 21 to be sitting there this long with no help, nobody behind him. Josh Berry's 4 cars back and fading. Everybody on the inside line struggling to, losing spots.
Ryan Sieg trying to push that 2 of Creed ahead to get by the 21. They just can't do it.
Yeah, you see right here, Josh Berry got a little bit lazy and left the bottom open for the 19. The 19 of Ty went to go for it. Josh came down, they made contact. And Ty was trying to avoid it. Unfortunately, the 36 of Weatherman was there and got some damage on that left front fender.
The 19 also got damage on the right rear quarter panel.
When you're part of your job when you're running these races, juniors, you got to be looking in that mirror. You cannot give the bottom up in that situation. Josh just wasn't as aggressive as he needed to be in that mirror. Marty.
Well, the RCR cars started 37th and 32nd. Jeff, now they're battling for the win in stage 2. Austin Hill said, I have so much confidence on entry. That's why he's able to run that low line, trying to get second here away from Ryan Sieg.
Sieg working that high line and trying to stay on the back bumper of the 2 of Creed. Now the 2 RCR cars surge ahead, 1 and 2. The final lap here of stage 2. And what a dominant performance out of the 2 and 21. Sheldon Creed is going to win the stage. He's got 3 stage wins, and they've all come this year. When I was talking to Sheldon earlier today, I said, when's the bad luck going to leave you and you're going to get to victory lane. He said, well, I'm going to have to stop making mistakes too. Well, that's true. Mistake-free for Sheldon Creed in his win of Stage 2 from here at Atlanta. Could tonight be his night? Could Sheldon Creed finally get his first Xfinity Series win? Represent your favorite driver. Take advantage of amazing deals at the NASCAR shop. Check out the greatest selection of t-shirts and hats, and die casts, and much, much more. Visit NASCAR.com/shop today. From inside the race car to high above, aerial coverage brought to you by Pods. If you're moving this summer, save up to 30% at pods.com today.
As you see the entire field basically coming to pit road, so the ones that were just on pit road and put their tires on, I'm guessing here's just going to get a little splash of gas. So this is going to be a real jumbled up race off from pit road, but you see just how long pit road is when it's 45 miles per hour all the way around turns 3 and 4.
And then coming in front of their pit stalls now. Again, the RCR cars leading the charge down pit road. Kim.
You see Ryan Sieg at the top there in the 39. He said, I just need a little bit more stability. They will make an air pressure adjustment on the 4 fresh Goodyears they're going to take. He also said, I just cannot keep up with them on the restart. Marty, as they continue service on Ryan Sieg.
That was a great shot from the top of the roof of Austin Hill as he pulled into a stall. He said, I had 3 really big moments entering turn 3. Way too free. I need to be tighter for the long run, Dave.
Steve talked about the jumble on pit road. Sheldon Creed knew that he would not be the first off of pit road, even though he won the stage. He needed 4 tires. He needed 2 cans of fuel, and that is taking forever. He's going to lose tons of track position.
Well, a couple guys who've got some great spots on pit road, Allgaier and Jeremy Clements. We mentioned the history of racing from here at Atlanta. Well, how about drivers cutting their teeth in the Bandoleros and legends from here, like William Byron, Joey Logano, Chris Buescher, the Dillon brothers, Austin and Ty, as well as, of course, Chase Elliott, who raced here. Bubba Wallace, another who worked on his craft. And they get to take center stage tomorrow under the lights here once again at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Countdown to green gets us underway at 6:30. Cup racing at 7. Of course, NASCAR America post race right after the checkered flag. We saw the 2 of Sheldon Creed making his way back onto pit road. They had an issue there. Let's go to the Peacock pit box as we're seeing another car slow on the track. All right, guys, so I know we're looking forward to tomorrow night's race, but pretty interesting 2 stages here for the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Yeah, he's talking about it is so loud. My goodness.
Yeah.
Been great first 2 stages in this Xfinity Series. I mean, we're watching a lot of these guys. You know, Austin Hill comes from the back, like we talked about a second ago, gets to the top 10, can't quite get into it. After these pit stops, though, it has really jumbled this field up.
Yes.
And now all of a sudden Sheldon Creed finds himself in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, I'm still fascinated by the ability of these guys to control the race from the front, to slow down the outside pack, to block a lane.
Yeah.
And every one of them's learned it. Every one of these guys have learned it. And that's where these guys, when they come to the Cup Series, they're ready to race there.
Yeah, so Rick, we're hoping they can burp that can on that 2 car next time. Didn't look like he got any fuel. It's going to be fun to watch him come from the back, though.
We'll try to make it a little quieter down there for you guys.
It's loud.
Sorry.
Yeah, it will be interesting. Steve, we saw the 2 of Sheldon Creed. They had a fuel issue.
Yeah, they had a fuel issue in the 7 of Justin Allgaier. A little different look with the Hellmans on the car. I don't know if there was communication issues, but you see he kind of starts to turn left, and he is way past his pit stall, not going to make it. So the 7 missed his pit stall, and then you just heard Brad talk about it. The 2 had trouble fueling. Result, both of them near the back of the field.
So now up front, Joe Graff Jr. in the 38 on the outside.
Ready, green flag, green flag.
Justin Haley in the 10. Familiar with running up front in this style of racing. Sam Mayer in the 1. That second car on the high line.
Oh, we got a car on the fence there on the outside line. Looked like the 19 of Ty Gibbs might have got up a little high there.
And 3 Kaulig cars are leading this race right now. Haley, Hemrick, Chandler Smith. That is something we've seen from these guys. See the 19 of Gibbs falling further back.
Yeah, he must have an issue with the 19 as he's dropping back
quickly. Got a flat tire, Rick. Got a flat tire on the 19.
That right rear quarter panel damage, I believe, it's the right front that's flat now, but I think he's had some issues with the right rear tire. Now the right front tire's flat after contact with the fence.
All the way across.
Sparks coming out from underneath the right side of the 19. He's going to try to get down
on
pit road, but a big wreck. Ryan Sieg is involved. The 1 of Sam Mayer sneaks through. The 78 also there. Anthony Alfredo.
The 2 is in it. Sheldon Creed, we just heard he had to go to the back.
Look at the damage to Ryan Sieg's 39. .36 also. Kyle Weatherman has damage.
9 of Brandon Jones, left front damage. Sieg, heavy damage, 36. There's the 2 we just talked about it. The stage 2 winner has trouble fueling the car, goes to the back and gets caught up in this mess.
3 wide. It's just much tighter here than it is at all the other tracks. Something happened in front. Looked like the 98 was having a problem.
Yeah, Riley Herbst was way off pace and looked like he was getting sideways in front of him.
We'll see that again. And
Riley gets loose
and lifts,
and he's even looser. I wonder if he's got a left rear tire down. He does. He's got a left rear tire flat. So coming around there the lap before, the 19 has a tire issue. I wonder if they are running over something, possibly running over something that cut the left rear tire on that 98 car.
And possibly the 19, as you
right.
mentioned.
Yeah, so could be something on the racetrack up there. Maybe that come from the 19 car from the lap before. You see the left rear tire, though, is about to come apart.
Yeah, and that just stacks them up. Maybe if they were 2 wide, they had a chance. But 3 wide, there was no chance. Pretty good contact for the 39. And then everyone else is just in wreck avoidance.
Moving out front here, south side. Still there, stay low here, stay low, come down, stay, check. Come out front here, you can, stay down, just make your way through here.
That's a good job, good patience. Sometimes it's hard to have that much patience to slow the car down.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate for all of these cars. All started with a tire going down. They just all got stacked up. You can't see through the cars. If somebody has a problem, you can't see 2 rows in front, and everybody just like going down the interstate. Something happens, and 5 cars back is where the wreck happens.
Yeah, the crew got looking at Ryan Sieg's damage.
Hugely disappointing. They had a legitimate shot to win this race. That car had enough speed. He was doing a great job with it.
You see the crew members coming up to him, letting him know, appreciative of what you did out on the racetrack prior to that happening, and listening to the radio from Ryan Sieg before he climbed out.
Oh, we got full pressure. Got a left rear flat, idiot. Golly, son of a. Yeah, we got full pressure for us.
Well, that wasn't Morse code, but it probably came out that way.
No, it was Morse code. It was, I'm really upset.
Yeah.
Got in a wreck.
Yeah, unfortunate for.
No, I mean, it is. You guys said it, right? I mean, he's had some good runs, but this is a race that he drove up and took the lead from. So he has to be thinking, what could have been?
They've been running really good this year. They struggled for a few years, but the switch to Fords, I think, helped this team because there are not a lot of Ford teams out there, and they're getting a lot more focus and support. And they've teamed up in some areas with some Cup affiliated race teams, having some drivers out there in their cars running the full-time Cup schedule. So just a nasty crash on the back straightaway, and that's what we get when we have issues on the super speedways.
10 cars are involved. Ryan Sieg, one of them. He was up front for a few laps here today. Mondays on USA. Do not miss the nonstop action of Monday Night Raw, featuring WWE superstars such as Cody Rhodes and Bianca Belair. That's Monday Night Raw live at 8 on USA. Sheldon Creed out of the race now, out of the car. You see some sparks still coming out from underneath the 98. And want to take a look at the Toyota driver update, where they're running. John Hunter Nemechek, highest scored right now in 4th. Sammy Smith in the 10th position. Kaz Grala right there in 12th. We saw hands full for Ty Gibbs. He's back in 25th right now in that 19. But he's been all over the racetrack, catching that race car.
And it's going to be a very interesting finish to this race, right? The drivers that won both Stage 1 and Stage 2, both involved in the accident now with Herbst and Creed. Sheldon Creed just had won Stage 2, had that fueling issue, lost his track position because of it, and then gets caught up in a wreck. And that's kind of that, old saying where you kind of make your own luck. There's an example of it, right? It's a small mistake, which everybody makes, but once you give up that track position, you get caught up in something else. Marty?
Josh Berry pits from 9th here, Steve. And you also see his teammate Justin Allgaier coming down pit road as well. Allgaier got a little bit of damage in that wreck, not too bad, so they're going to come in and address some of that, but fuel only there for the 8, so can definitely make it all the way from here to the very end of the race.
Yeah, so fuel window's about 75 to 77 laps. This final stage was 83. It was about 81 when they took the green. So all the crew chiefs I talked to thought that they could get there with a little bit of help from yellows and saving some gas. But obviously, that was before the race. With whatever fuel numbers the 8 seeing, they didn't think they had quite enough fuel in, so they came in and just topped it off. Dave.
Hey guys, the top 3 cars, they have something in common. They are all teammates. That's Justin Haley, Daniel Hemrick, and Chandler Smith. So we've seen this movie before. They run well together. They often sort of decide who's going to win the next time if one wins. And so I asked team president Chris Rice, kind of jokingly, well, whose turn is it? And he said, well, duh, the 11. Obviously, Daniel Hemrick has not won this year. Chandler Smith behind him has. And Justin Haley is not eligible for the Xfinity Series playoffs, even though he leads. So let's see how they work together, Marty, as they try to get a victory for one of the 3, maybe for Hemrick.
Dave, Austin Hill back up to the 6th position. And if you notice him run tonight, has been an interesting theme because he always seems to be by himself on the bottom of the racetrack. In fact, he told Andy Street a moment ago, his crew chief, if I can just get a little bit of help, anybody who wants to work with me on the bottom, we can be up front, no problem. But Kim, the problem is I'm not sure anybody in the field wants to push that 21 any further forward. They know he's the car to beat.
Well, for Brett Moffitt running in the 8th position, I talked to him earlier in the day, and he said with the strength and the speed they had in the spring race here where they finished 6th, they feel like they legitimately have a shot at getting the first win in the Xfinity Series for this small team. On top of that, they're using the momentum they found last week in Chicago with a 4th place finish. It was the first top 5 finish for this small race team in the Xfinity Series, and they are looking for all of the opportunity here tonight.
It is an opportunity, and that's one of the things that some of the teams take advantage of.
Yeah, and that small team, AM Racing, they have run in the trucks before. It's a team that we've seen truck racing a bunch, but this has been a good fit for AM Racing and Brett Moffitt. Remember, Brett had some good rides last year, kind of come and go, and never really found that home through the course of the year. And this has been a real good match. They've been very patient with one another. And if you kind of look at their year, it's been tracking up. While it may seem slow from the outside, from the inside, I think when I talk to Brett, he knows how tough this field is, how deep the Xfinity Series field is. Consistent runs back to back, as Kim just pointed out, and then, a nice top 5 at the street course. I mentioned it in qualifying, that this is a driver that may not have the most speed here tonight, but he kind of has that blue-collar tenacity that it might take to get to the finish.
Look at this. All Colleague Racing cars went to the high line. They'll be nose to tail.
They have been very committed to getting a Colleague car to win, as Dave reported, and it's amazing how loyal they are to each other. We've seen them win races, we've seen them do this, and all 3 of them picked the top.
let's check in with Peacock Bitbox.
All right, here's the race recap so far. Green flag, they dropped the green flag, and instantly we go back and we watch Austin Hill drive from the back up into the top 10 or 15 within the first 10 or 15 laps of the race. His car was right on the bottom, wrapping turns 3 and 4, wrapping turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, he's done a great job of being on the bottom of the racetrack. We saw Parker Klickerman, who had a good start. That left rear tire goes down, he spins it, goes a lap down, gets his lap back, but it set off a chain of events with a lot of left tires going flat.
Yeah, and a great ending to stage 1. We saw the 10 car push the 98 car of Herbst to win stage 1.
Yeah, and you see right here, John Hunter, you see these guys are racing down in the corner, and Redsloff just is in the wrong place, wrong time, gets knocked up the racetrack. No harm, no foul.
Yeah, right here, this was the 44 car, had trouble, got loose, spun a little bit. The 08 got into his right front, I guess, drove him up into the outside wall, tore those cars all to pieces.
Yeah, a lot of fluids came out of that race car. And you see Sheldon Creed here just racing really hard, gets in front of his teammate, comes across, wins the stage, but...
Yes, the big one. And here's what happened. The 98 car of Herbst has a flat tire, just stacks up that outside lane, and that's it.
Green flag coming back out now as we are underway with this final stage. 67 laps remaining. John Hunter Nemechek on the inside, on the outside, working that high line. Colleague cars, first, second, and third on that outside line, being led by the 10 of Justin Haley. Daniel Hemrick in the 11, right on his back bumper.
Big push from the 21 there in the back of Nemechek. Have they got this 20 car, Nemechek's more comfortable to where he can handle that kind of a push. He's going to get a few here from the 21. We know that Austin Hill has a strong race car. He'll try to push that 20 as much as he can, as long as it stays underneath John Hunter.
Chandler Smith in the 16, giving a shove to the 11 of Daniel Hemrick as we ride along with Austin Hill. And Hill not able to get to the back bumper of the 20 of John Hunter Nemechek, and he falls back just a bit.
Yeah, John Hunter's car just does not drive well enough.
Another car on the wall back there. Josh Berry up into the fence. Big damage to the right rear quarter panel here. It's gonna be a long night for him going forward.
They got a bad tire rub.
I agree, Josh. Bad tire rub. I think that's going to require a pit stop.
Definitely a small tire rub. It's going away.
And on the top screen, you can see everybody has gone to the top. That 20 car on the bottom. Here comes Hill. He's trying to make the bottom work.
Yeah, man, we're not out of it, man.
Chandler Smith goes down to try to block. It's Justin Haley that's out front now. Daniel Hemrick running in the second spot. Chandler Smith is third. And it seems like this is very familiar. Colleague racing working together up front in pack racing style.
Another thing we're seeing is the cars spreading back out like they did in the first stage. We had a lot of pack racing side by side, hard battling through stage 2. But it looks like now handling is again an issue. We heard drivers say the cars are getting looser as the race goes on.
And you see Austin Hill, he keeps trying to make the bottom work, but if nobody's going to go with him, every time he makes a move, he loses spots. And that's going to be the determining factor whether he can win or not. Can he get a run at the right time and then make the move and then find a hole to get in? Otherwise, he keeps trying to make moves and it doesn't work and he falls further to the back.
Cautions just come out. And a lot of damage for Kyle Weatherman.
Yes.
The right side of that car is destroyed. Wow. Kyle's been
right
involved
front blew out.
In a few accidents.
Turned pretty hard. I see fluid.
We heard it on the radio. He's saying that the right front let go. Sounds like that's the spotter describing it to the team at times. When you're on pit road and you just know your driver's out of the race, you're as confused as anyone trying to put together what happened. You see a little fire. I would say that is where that right front suspension ended up into the engine compartment.
And so the 7th caution has come out here tonight. There's Kyle walking back to one of the safety vehicles. He'll go to the infield care center, get checked out.
We had showed Josh Berry make a little wall contact, and I had mentioned I thought the tire rub was severe. They wrote it out. You know, it's a good decision because now they have a yellow. They hadn't pitted yet, so.
And involved in the previous caution, one of the best cars On the track tonight, Georgia native Ryan Sieg is with Marty.
Yeah, Rick, it's gotten busy here in the last few minutes. So, Ryan, we saw the 98 had the flat tire. How did that kind of develop in front of you? And were you thinking, this might be my night?
For sure. When we were in the lead, Sheldon and I raced hard, and we did all the right things, just in the wrong circumstances. Just somebody didn't hold their line right there and just right reared us. But we brought a really, really fast CMR roofing Ford, and just sucks to be on this side of it, especially as good as we run at these type tracks. So we did everything right. Just sucks to be over here. It's like, damn, when's it going to be my time? Yeah. But we've been fast all 4 of these races. Just awesome to be here at home, just in the front. You know what I mean? I was having a blast up front and trying to do all I could do, and we did the right pit calls. Just sucks to be on this side of it, but it is what it is. And we brought a car almost as fast as Xfinity's Internet, and we'll move on to New Hampshire and just try to capitalize. But no, we had fun. It's a lot of fun racing here, especially at home, but just tough.
Rick, you can hear the frustration now. 9 races left for Ryan Sieg to make the 2023 playoffs.
Yeah. The countdown already. Josh Berry, we had mentioned he looked to be struggling up against the wall, and here's another look at how that happened. It's like it got a little bit loose. Up to the wall he went.
Yeah, in that angle, we thought it was heavy damage. Now it looks like a great save. It could have been much worse.
Fans, make sure to download the official app of NASCAR. It allows you to follow all the action with free live scoring. There's in-car cameras as well as a radio broadcast. You can search NASCAR in your app store, and you can start the free trial tonight. Back in 2001, and it was after Dale Earnhardt Sr. passed away, Kevin Harvick took over and drove the 29 to victory for the very first time, and it came here at Atlanta. Kevin Harvick's 3rd start. He got the win and started what is going to end up being a Hall of Fame career. this is final season. That car right there, the 29 that won here at Atlanta back in 2001, is going to lead the field in pace laps tomorrow with Richard Childress behind the wheel. So very impressive, the career that Kevin Harvick has had, and reliving that memory. Everything gets started with countdown to green at 6:30. Again, tomorrow evening, 7 o'clock for the Cup Series race. It will be Kevin Harvick's final time behind the wheel here at Atlanta.
Jeff, do you remember where you were in that race?
Wasn't in the front.
Yep. That was a good one.
All the damage to Kyle Weatherman's car. Take a look at how it happened.
Yeah, you see the car spark on corner entry, right front clearly flat. You know this is going to be a bad angle right here. You can see why the damage was so severe. Kind of the top of the screen. He's going to come into screen. Look at this.
Oof. By the damage, it looked a lot harder than that. Yeah. I think he was, having the flat early, recognizing it as he turns into the corner, kind of took some of the, how aggressive the angle could have been on impact out. So that was kind of good to see, because when we see this car laid up against the inside pit wall, it looked like a tremendous hit. He's unbuckling the winning it there.
Riley Herbst also involved in an incident earlier, and Marty's caught up with him.
Yeah, Rick, what an up and down night for Riley Herbst. First career stage win. That's the good part. The bad part was the flat left rear that caused that accident a moment ago. Where did the flat come from, Riley?
Yeah, I don't know, Marty. We had a pretty good night going. Obviously, we won this first stage, and I thought our Monster Energy Ford Mustang was good enough to maybe run top 3. And then I loaded into turn 1 on the restart, and I knew it was down. And I tried to save it, and then I dumped out of the gas probably too fast down the back straightaway. And when I dumped out of the gas, it just swapped ends on me. So sorry to everybody else. That's disappointing. But I really hate that for my Stewart-Haas guys, and wish we didn't blow a tire.
We've heard the drivers talk about how different the racing is tonight versus March. You ran up front, obviously winning a stage. How would you describe the racing this evening?
I thought it was intense. I thought it was extremely on edge, a lot of on throttle time, which this new Atlanta makes us drivers do, which was cool for us because we had a really good handling Ford Mustang. But a lot of people were loose, and it was kind of a handful if you were in dirty air or if you didn't have a good handling car. The spring temperatures just make it so gripped up, and that's probably 100 degrees track temp, higher than that right now. So it's a little slick, a little loose, but it was fun while it lasted.
All right, tough ending of the night for Riley Herbst after a promising start, Rick.
Yeah, Riley won't be involved in this, but we want to take a look at the Ruoff Mortgage keys to victory lane.
Well, guys, it starts with handling, right? We just heard it from Riley. Handling has been an issue, but as the track cools, who makes the right adjustments or perhaps no adjustments? What car handles better as the lights shine and the track cools?
Well, 57 laps to go. We've had 7 cautions. If you want to win this race, stay out of the upcoming ones.
And keep that track position. And Colleague has it right now with the top 3 cars, and they're controlling this race. And it'll be difficult to wrestle that control away with only less than 60 laps to go.
57, it'll be 56 when they come by the next time, and they will, I believe they'll be choosing inside or outside. Last time, all 3 of the Colleague cars chose that outside line so that they would stay nose to tail. Will they do the same when they come by this time?
Yeah, I think we got to give a shout out to that 38 car, Joe Graff Jr., sitting there running in 4th. Really good job getting himself in this position. We just talked about how important track position is. Now, just got to do everything you can to keep it. 3 career top 10s. This could be a huge night for him.
He's going to stay on that outside line as well, but that now opens the door for the bottom. So who was 5th? John Hunter Nemechek is now going to start on the front row in the 20.
I want to know from the drivers, you mentioned that Joe Graff Jr. car, the windshield is, I don't know if that's
yes.
Speedy dry. Like, is that hard to look out of as it appears? I mean, look at that thing.
Might not have been a tear off on there. Dave?
Leader Justin Haley discussed a 2-part strategy with his team.
You got to make the call. We can't let 21 up here, but obviously we got to keep momentum. As long as you understand, it just depends on what the 16 does. As soon as we get one car in between us, it's all over.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
So Chandler Smith in the 16 had gotten out of line earlier, but he was trying to block the 21 from coming forward. They know they can work together. They're concerned about the 21. He has been one of the fastest cars, if not the fastest car on track all night.
Look at the numbers for Colleague Racing. And on the drafting tracks, like what now Atlanta has become, 7 wins in the 66 starts. Those 7 wins have all come in the last 18 races on these drafting type tracks. So again, Colleague nose to tail. There are 3 cars on the outside line. On the inside, it's John Hunter Nemechek with Cole Custer behind him, and then Austin Hill, who's won already 2 and looking for 3 here at Atlanta.
Business is about to pick up here. Drivers know we're closing in on the finish of this one, and they're going to need that track position. You see the 21 of Austin Hill jumping that outside line. He's already going to give up on this bottom. Get a push here from Joe Graff. 16's trying to go to the bottom here. 21 to the top. That's another spot.
Austin Hill moving up to 4th now. They mentioned if the 21 would get in between any one of those 3, it could be the night over for the Colleague trio. And now John Hunter Nemechek running in the 3rd spot. Austin Hill is 4th, all chasing after Haley.
Does Austin go to the bottom? Is there an option on the top of the racetrack? Can he get on the outside of John Hunter Nemechek? I think that's the easier way to make the pass if he can find his way on the right rear quarter panel of the 20. He knows if he goes to the bottom, that's going to be the tougher way around, and he might be down there by himself.
He's been trying it over and over and over, and it hasn't gotten him the lead. So let's see if he's patient.
Just be patient here for a little and let you see something that can work. Half and half. Next.
That 20 car is faded down low enough, I think, that if the 21 of Hill can get the run, he can probably catch John Hunter sleeping a little bit and get on that outside.
Restarts are huge. Watch the 20 car. Watch right there, right above the 2 on the door. See his hand come out the window? He's waving to the car behind him. Soon as his hand starts moving, he wants the car behind him with forward momentum in his rear bumper. Actually wants him to hit him, to shoot him out in front of that 10 car if he could.
Big run by the 16 of Chandler Smith. He's trying to get back up there. Hill also with a run. He looks to the inside of the 20, trying to take 3rd away.
Big side draft. He jumps away from the 20. He clears him now back up into that spot.
Slide up and grab him. Slide up and grab him.
He slides up, takes that spot away. That's perfect. Perfect transition from one spot into another. Don't get too greedy and stay down on the bottom and try to get more. Just one at a time till you can take that lead. Marty.
Boy, Dell, that is the aggressiveness of Austin Hill, and he and Derek Nealon, his spotter, had a long conversation under that caution. He said, why won't anyone work with us on the bottom? We're too good. And here he goes again to the bottom around Daniel Hemrick for 2nd.
He's clear again. He's going to slide up and take that spot. See, he didn't get greedy and go to the bottom of the 10 and get hung down there on the inside. One car at a time. He's taking each run, making the most of it with the side draft, slowing down the car on the outside.
But this time, his problem is the 11 car is teammates with the 10 car. So anything the 21 does now, the 11 is going to do the opposite. So there's not going to be any help coming to him. He's been making this happen by himself. There's no question. The moves he's been making has been great. But there is no help coming from that 11.
With 49 laps to go, he's going to have many, many opportunities with really massive runs on this leader, Haley. Right now, there's not a run materializing, but there will be moments when the runs are just too good to pass up. And he's going to have to be aggressive. You see how tight he gets to them to side draft him. It shoots him forward, pulls the car beside him, behind him. He's really, really aggressive with that, but that's what makes him so great at these racetracks. And he just makes moves. He doesn't think about the move. He just feels the run and knows it. He's confident in the run. He's confident in his car. And he just goes out there and does. No plan, he just does.
He's really good at it. But the guy in front of him, Justin Haley, is as well. Between the two of them, they've combined to win 8 of the last 16 drafting type races. So the very best in Xfinity are first and second right now.
And Haley made the comment before they even went back to racing. Said, what we can't have is the 21 getting in between us. Well, that is exactly what the 21 has done.
Well, and as good as Austin Hill is, as we see a battle right here with the 31 and the 16, you know, Andy Street has given Austin Hill quite a car to drive as well, because you could see, Dale, you've taught this when you drove that 88 back years ago, how long the run takes, right? He gets a little push and the run for like a lap. The 21, it just keeps rolling forward. It doesn't lose momentum. He can get closer to the 10 with little to no help than most any car in the field.
A lot of good racing going on back here. Cole Custer, Graff Jr., Chandler Smith.
Brett Moffitt right there in the white 25 at the bottom of the screen getting in the picture.
Top two of the best at this style of racing. Justin Haley and Austin Hill, 1 and 2 in Atlanta. You're watching NASCAR Xfinity Series racing from Atlanta, the Alsco Uniforms 250. And a big run out of the 16 of Chandler Smith has put him up to 3rd now. So aggressive moves even in front of his teammate Daniel Hemrick. But it is still teammate Justin Haley that is pacing the field, with Austin Hill looking ready to pounce at any time as there are under 40 laps to go, now 39.
Parker Klingerman down here on the inside. Seeing some cars moving around the racetrack, guys, chasing it up the racetrack, running right against the wall. Some still able to be comfortably running the bottom. The handling on some of these cars starting to suffer a little bit. '16 car right here. Chandler Smith making some great moves to the bottom of the 20 right here. He gets up beside his teammate. Didn't think he was going to make this pass happen, but slides right in front of Hemrick. I don't know that Hemrick was wanting to let him in because he pushes him all the way down the straightaway.
Yeah, Parker Kligerman right here still talking about him. Gets a big run on that outside. 18 car, Sammy Smith just says, hey, I'm not going to let you get that run. Just pulls up in front of him. Oh, that's frustrating as a driver. You got to lift right there. It's going to be a big wreck.
Somebody who's lifting is that 21 of Austin Hill. He's trying to put runs together, backing up a little bit to Haley, packing up these cars behind him, and see he's trying to create a run right here. Jumps to the outside. Haley blocks it, now to the inside. Can he clear? Haley's got the help, and his teammates behind him. 3 Collick cars.
I just didn't like that move. I just think that was a desperation move. You got 3 Collick cars right there running together. You know they're not going to help you. You've got the fastest car with 37 laps to go. It wasn't the time. It wasn't the place. He's really good. He's really good at this, but I did not like that move.
How does he form up with someone else? You say not the time, not the place. When is the right time and when is the right place?
Well, the problem was he had the 16 of Chandler Smith behind him, and Chandler kept giving him a push, an air push. And I just feel like he fell into the trap thinking, hey, I got this big run. And as soon as he got the run, Chandler Smith said, I'm not helping you anymore. And now you have 3 Collick cars running first, second, and third. You just have to recognize the situation you're in. You're just up against it, and you know the reputation of the Collick drivers. They are going to help each other.
We'll see if Austin Hill can battle his way back. He was all the way up running in the 2nd position, but now has dropped back to 6th.
Yeah, we get to see him go back to work and try to figure out how to get around these cars, put himself back in that position, Jeff.
Look at him.
What a run.
I mean, he just flies up there.
I was going to say back to work. I don't think the 00 and the 20 are going to take as long, but then he has to get to that trio of Collick cars, Marty, and start picking them off one at a time.
And Steve, here's been the frustration for Austin Hill all night long. It's very evident nobody wants to help him. He's going to have to do it on his own. Junior, you've been in this spot before, so now that he's fallen back, I love the phrase you use. He's got to go back to work. How does he go back to work? Clearly, he's going to have to do it on his own and pick his way from 6 up to the lead.
I think he jumps on the right rear of that 00. He's got a fast enough car and handling well enough to catch that 00 backing up. Everybody right here now in the lead pack is, the leader's full throttle, but some of these guys right here are half throttle, every once in a while checking up. I'd be on that top line, just offset just a little bit to the car in front of me, trying to create some momentum to jump to the outside. That outside pass is automatic. We've seen how hard it is on the bottom. He's just not going to be. Look at the 00 get loose, though. So here he goes. He's going to try to work this bottom around the 00, and he can't get clear. Now he's starting to bleed out again, and now Parker has a chance to get to the outside of the 21 if he can make this pass.
What if Parker works with Austin Hill? Parker hasn't been up here running with the 21, but everybody else that's been up here hasn't want to run with Austin Hill. Kim?
And at this point, Parker's willing to do anything to find track position because he said, my car is so good. We just need continuous green flag runs to show what it can do. So if anybody's going to work with Austin Hill, possibility of Parker Kligerman just so he can show what his car can do, Dave.
Let's continue this Parker update with Parker Retzlaff in the black and white and red 31 car, getting passed right now by Justin Allgaier, but a strong run for him tonight. Remember, his best finish of the year was the opener at Daytona. He's just a rookie, 20 years old, but he's doing a great job.
Again, the Parker's running nose to tail here. Parker Kligerman, as well as Parker Retzlaff, the 48 and the 31.
I think the ill-handling 20 is going to be the opportunity for Hill. The 20 in the 4th position, there's a lot of red, blue, and white cars out there, but the 4th one in line is the 20 of John Hunter Nemechek, and his seems to have some of the biggest handling issues as tires wear. And one of these times, he's going to have an issue move up the track. The 00 and him are going to get passing, and that'll be the momentum killer that the 21's looking for to try to get to that right rear of the 20, and the 00 for that matter. Dave, what are you hearing on the 20?
Well, so that was one of the other things that the colleague teams talked about in the break. They were sure that the 20 car of John Hunter Nemechek would get shuffled out because he's been handling so ill all night. And John has confirmed that on the radio. Just doesn't seem to have the right downforce on the car. But that has not happened yet. So far, John Hunter hangs well in fourth in the 20 car.
Looking for opportunities. Well, how about the slower cars, the lap cars that they're going by now? We'll see if that creates an opportunity. It doesn't slow down the 10 of Haley at all. Haley running strong up front as his teammates Chandler Smith and Daniel Hemrick running right behind him in second and third. Less than 23 laps remain here in Atlanta for the Xfinity Series as Haley continues to lead. Chandler Smith running second. Daniel Hemrick is third. John Hunter Nemechek hands full behind the wheel of the 20. He's in fourth. And Austin Hill has just gained a spot. He's in the top 5.
And Austin's really not being able to get back up toward, the second, third spot. Multiple laps are going by. He is running out of time. And there's not a lot of help behind him. You see the 00, the 48 of Parker Klinger, and they're not able to get up there and help him put any runs together. That's going to make it difficult for him. He's going to have to find a way around these cars, and it's got to do it by himself.
How long will the colleague racing cars play nice with each other?
All the way to the end. I think that they're going to stay right here in line, taking care of each other until the final back straightaway. They may, we may see them try to make a move on the back stretch, ensuring that at least one of them is going to get to the finish line first.
You see this wide variety of tires on the left-hand side because everyone didn't all take tires at the same time. Some guys took some fuel only. Some guys took tires way back in the middle of stage 1 or towards the end of stage 1. So while we see these cars all sliding around, understand that Hill has not only a fast car, but a little fresher tires than the cars in front of him.
Big move there by the 20, a little slide, the back bumper. Moving around on this 20 car. Now the 21 to the inside. He's going to be able to get Nemechek here. He's going to get a little help off this 00. Now the 00 and 20 are side by side. 21 of Austin Hill takes the spot away.
We saw Cole Custer get a little sideways there as he was catching up to the 21 of Hill. Let's see if Custer can complete the pass. Now side by side with the 20 of Nemechek.
Yeah, see, that's the problem right there. When you go to the bottom and you can't clear, they're going to stack up on you on the outside. I'm sure Cole Custer has been watching that 20. Look at him. It's just way up the racetrack. Car drives horrible. I'm sure Cole saw that and thought he could clear him.
Parker Kligerman trying to take advantage of the 20. Moving up high.
And I think Parker could be the 21's best friend because he's one of the only cars I see that can carry that corner speed through the middle of the corner.
I don't think he's going to be able to make this pass, Steve. Down the back straightaway, the 7 of Allgaier is going to push the 20 back clear. Parker's going to continue to lose spots down the back straightaway.
That was the moment, right? He needed that push from the 7.
So now Austin Hill has gotten to the back of the column cars, and the pass is going to have to happen somehow one at a time, and it's not going to have much help from behind. The 20 just does not have the drivability to do what the 21 can do. So how can Austin Hill make this happen? He's got to get forward momentum on him, kind of catch him off guard a little bit, preferably get on that right rear quarter panel.
I like that lane right there. Gives a little bit of distance in the corner, but should have a little bit of a run down the straightaway here.
Traffic here in the next couple laps.
If you're Hemrick in that 11 car, you cannot give him the top. If he gets underneath you, he gets underneath.
Comes to the inside of Hemrick down the back straightaway.
And he pulls way down to the bottom of the racetrack.
Not going to clear him. What can he do down here in turn 3 and 4? He's going to have to get aggressive.
Hill some here, quarter.
His spotter's right. I mean, as bad as that sounds, it's about the only shot he's got to be able to take the spot. He's got to jump back in line here.
Fake it.
But the 20, but by the 20 car not being good enough, no harm, no foul. He made a run. He tried it. It just didn't work. But he didn't lose multiple spots. There's a disadvantage of the 20 not being able to push the 21, but it's also an advantage to try things because there's just not enough speed for the 20 taking advantage of an opportunity missed by the 21.
Dale, you said it the best. If I'm the crew chief of the 11 right now, I'm letting him know if the 21 passes us on the bottom, okay, but you cannot allow him to get to your outside because that's a free pass for the 21.
The 20's right here too, Steve. This could be an opportunity for the 21 to put something together. Just don't think he can do it by himself. We also see a lot of lap traffic that could disturb the air for the leaders, get them out of the throttle a little bit to create some opportunities for the 21 as well.
Lap cars once again coming into play here.
The whole time, Justin Haley, it's not easy, but making it look easy. Probably easier with 2 teammates behind you, but Justin Haley just continues to lead this race up to 64 laps.
Before Austin Hill became the best at the super speedways in the Xfinity Series, that was Justin Haley. He was, in my opinion, the best super speedway racer, the best drafter in this series. Then he moved into the Cup Series full time. No surprise to see him successful tonight. I thought he would be the one to be able to take the fight to the 21.
Well, Dale Jr., he's going to love to hear that because he stopped me on pit road a couple weeks ago after you said you thought he might win a championship in his career, and he was shocked. He thought that was the best compliment he's ever had, so you put that one on top of it. I might get another text message from the driver of the 10.
Well, he's led more tonight than he did in all 4 of his wins combined. So Justin has been a guy that's been able to execute at the end, not really dominated races. Tonight he's been dominating. Now he's going to have to try to win while leading rather than coming for second or third. It's a different mentality winning a race like that. When is the right time to block? How do you block?
Guys, I really think this comes down to kind of the new call it guy, and that's Chandler Smith. We know what happens when it's A.J. Allmendinger and Justin Haley. We even know what happens when Hemrick or Ross Chastain's in the mix, but we haven't seen the driver of the 16, Chandler Smith, been put in this position.
Hemrick comes down, running in front of that 21 of Austin Hill.
Look at the lap traffic, Rick. Side by side in front of these guys. They're going to be able to sort it out. Get to the bottom of the racetrack. Yes, they do.
Less than 10 laps to go.
Teamwork and morality is getting ready to be tested right here. A crossroads is coming.
And the help behind the 21 is still there. Nemechek in the 20, the 7, Allgaier. They're still there to give Austin Hill opportunity or a chance or a run or two. You have to imagine that maybe, like you said, Steve, you know, the Collie cars do get a little dicey in the last few laps. That's sort of going to create an accordion effect. It's going to cost him a little pace. Might present Austin Hill the chance he needs.
4 times before, Colleague Racing has finished 1 and 2 in races. They've never finished 1, 2, 3, and that's the way they run now. Under 9 to go, coming up on 8.
Austin Hill backing up to those cars, creating a run down the straightaway. Look at the help behind him, starting to get more help, getting more organized. Thought they were going to drive away from these cars and the 21 wouldn't have anyone back there, but it's not over.
They're grouping up again. Now Hill has the 20 of Nemechek right on his back bumper. Here comes Allgaier in the 7 to give Nemechek a shove. 7 laps to go.
Just feels like a pressure cooker, doesn't it, Rick? Like it just can't stay this calm for this long.
You think this is calm?
Well, I think it's calmer than it's going to be over the next 6 laps.
21 with an opportunity here. He's right at the back bumper. Does he go to the inside? Really no run right now. So if he goes to the inside, it's just going to be almost impossible to have a pass made. He's going to have some kind of momentum helping him from behind, from that 20, the 7, the 48.
Something to check up.
Yeah.
This lead group, you know, if there are some lap cars that are in front of the lead group, that could change the momentum.
The gaps are getting tighter between all these guys. Austin right there on the back of the 11. He's up the racetrack. Here comes Austin to the inside. Is he going to try anything here? He's right on the back bumper of the 11. Hemrick had to get out of the gas right there. He's getting shoved down the straightaway. He's not liking that.
Come on, real tight with you.
Let him go right there into 1, but oh, look at that. Oh, 11 is loose.
Up the racetrack he goes. The 21 trying to take advantage, trying to get 3rd away.
Now, he didn't clear him, and look at the 20. The 20's pushing Hemrick. Now the 20's on the outside of him. The 7 trying to get there. Look at this move, though, by the 21.
Lap traffic coming into play again.
Oh, the 7 almost loose. Parker Klingerman in the back of Allgaier.
Pinch him up.
4 to go. Oh, a wild 11 there.
These guys are out of shape.
Daniel Hemrick trying to just hang on right now.
And Austin Hill's thinking if just somebody would go with me. Anytime I go to the bottom.
Nemechek has gotten by him. He's up to 4th. Haley now with a 4-car length lead over Chandler Smith.
That is a big lead. Let's see what Chandler does when he gets to him.
Haley's trying to drag. Oh, we got a spin right here.
Sideways, the 24 of Parker Chase.
He's kind of on the entry to pit road, though. He might spin at pit road. We're staying green.
Here comes the 20. The 11 gets loose again. Big run down the back straightaway.
21 involved as well as he gets a run. Now he peaks up high, but no opening. The 48 gets to his back bumper and around goes the 21.
Stay in the gas, keep off the wall, stay in the gas, stay in the gas.
Caution comes out.
Combination of things happening.
We need to keep rolling. The leaders are middle of the back. The tires are up. We need to keep rolling.
Combination of things happening right there to create all that. old tires pushing it to the limit, lap traffic. Cars way out of control. So the 21's thinking, I'm gonna go to the outside of the 20 right here, but then decides against it. Didn't quite get to the bottom of the racetrack. And Parker doesn't touch him, but the air off of the nose of the 48 disturbs the back of the 21, and only these old tires, right at this limit, right on the edge, that's all it takes. No contact there, but certainly the air disturbing the back of that 21.
It's like the air's disturbing it, and the 21 knows he wants to block the 48, right? So he's tugging the wheel probably, trying to not allow the 48 that full lane.
Yeah, watch the 20. The 20 comes up in front of the 21, so now he's in a horrible position. The 48 is pushing the air onto the left rear quarter panel, pulling air off the spoiler. The 20 pulls up in front of him. That takes all the air off of him. Around he goes. Look, all that happened at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, you even wonder if the lap car's not there, if there's another car length to the right, if Austin Hill can save it off the corner. But he just runs out of real estate. This is zoomed in. Look at this right here.
I mean, see the 20 sliding up. He's got the air off. The 48 is packing the air on the left rear quarter panel. Old tires, like you said, Junior, and around it goes. That isn't a wreck that happens on lap 10 of a run.
Yeah.
Those old tires, you can see everybody sliding around.
Okay.
Hill's riding around here on some tore up tires, trying not to destroy this race car.
So the question now is we've seen them sliding around so much, will people pit?
Well, there's only 18 cars in the lead lap, to your point, Jeff. Double file restart, so you'd line up in the front 9 rows. I guess the question is, with all the grip in the world, is there enough real estate for overtime, right? 2 laps, 3 miles. Even if you're the fastest car here, if the front 2 or 3 rows get 3 wide, you're done. Now, if they stay 2 wide and sliding up, Jeff, you're going to look like a hero around the bottom. You're definitely going to look like a rocket ship.
Well, the leader can't pit. The top 4 or 5 can't pit. But if you're running 8th or 9th,
yeah.
Let's listen to Parker.
I haven't touched him, or is that just air? I don't think you touched him. I don't know, buddy. It's okay.
Replay showed he did not touch him, but yes, they were right with air. So even the driver of the 48 wasn't sure if there was contact made.
So to Jeff's point, who thinks they can't do better in their current situation? Is it Moffitt in 7th? Does he say, hey, I'm going to come get some fresh tires? Is it Custer? Sammy Smith? You know, who is going to come down and get fresh tires? These cars right here, pit road's closed, so these cars are all here. The 21 of Hill is going to be under penalty. He has no choice. The tires were flat. Pit road's still closed at this moment. But someone is going to decide, and that's why pit road's closed. Crew members pushing a car backwards, trying to get all that cleaned up. I mean, if I am the 19 of Ty Gibbs in 10th, I'm coming for tires. Yeah. Not running full time anyway. Not going to win it for 10th on old tires, are we, Junior? Like, if you're my guy and you're at 10th, I'm selling tires. The question is, are you buying? I think, knowing you would definitely love some tires.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're in the top 4, it's a really hard decision to make, to give up that track position. But, I mean, we got guys back here that obviously are very uncomfortable, like the 11 of Hemrick. He was so loose. Does he think he can hang on to it for a couple laps? I mean, how much of this, green, white, checkered are they technically up to full speed? Maybe about, 60% of that? Can you hang on to it for 60% of that? Green, white, checkered and not bring it back on the record? Because you're going to get pushed. There's going to be contact. You're going to get pushed around. If the air can disturb a car like that, imagine how much air is going to be disturbing the cars that are in the middle of the pack on old tires. See these guys running on the apron. They're trying to make sure their fuel cells are getting, the fuel's getting to the pickup. Because a lot of people are kind of short on fuel, at least short enough that running on the banking might, create some problems of stumbling and so forth when they go back to green. But it's a tough call, and I'm glad I'm not a crew chief. That's probably why I never was, because I wasn't much of a gambler.
Well, we saw the 21 and the issue for Austin Hill, but prior to that, the 24 of Parker Chase also had his issues.
I thought pit road was open. I thought we were going to see some takers there.
There's Parker Chase on the outside of Balicki.
Yeah, Balicki just gets into the left rear there. Not sure if the 24 was coming down the racetrack. Were they side by side down the back straightaway? What was everything that happened to lead to that moment? But harmless spin, but it does put us in a precarious situation.
So we talked a lot about tires, but you mentioned the cars on the apron. Let's talk about fuel. There's been 23 laps at yellow. This is the 83rd lap. We thought they could go 75, 23 in yellow. So I'm saying they've gone like what would be equivalent to 73 green when you do the math. So all of these cars are close to fumes. You know, they think they're going to be okay, but they're running on the apron, to Dale's point, to make sure that the fuel sits down into the pickup on the right side. If you sit up on the bank and the fuel's picked up in the right corner, so gravity will push the fuel to the left going slow. Going fast, it'll sling it to the right and everything's fine. So they're all making sure the pickups stay full. You don't get an air bubble because then it will stumble on the restart. But, you know, there's a lot of assumption that goes into fuel. Are you sure the car was completely full in the last pit stop? I mean, I don't think anyone expected for quite this many laps of overtime. And Dale, you mentioned, hey, how much of the 2 laps are you at full speed? This follow-up question I would have is, how many times are we going to try to run 2 laps? Right. That's the other thing that could possibly happen. If we have multiple attempts, you look down there at somebody like Burton or Williams, right? Could the 92 of Williams get this great opportunity, a couple more overtimes, and he has the lead because he has the most fuel?
I bet he parks it on the start-finish line if he wins.
I'm not touching that one, Rick. I don't want to be suspended. I don't want to get in trouble.
The other thing about these overtime rules on drafting style racetracks is you want to have the lead the entire time because you never know when the caution's coming out. The caution comes out on that last lap. Whoever's leading wins the race. And how many times does it happen? It's a large percentage of times. We don't make a full 2 laps under green. So if you're Justin Haley, John Hunter Nemechek, it's on your brain right now. I've got to be leading.
I kind of like where Parker lined up, right? He's behind a couple Collet cars. You know they're going to work together and accelerate good on this restart.
What the 11 car of Hemrick, what an awful position to be in. You got your teammates on the outside lane. You got the 20 that you need to push, Dave, to try to make something happen. But if you do, you're going to push them past your teammates.
Later, Justin Haley was told to, quote, save like a pig. That means he is close on fuel. Also, then he told the team over the radio, make sure behind me that Chandler Smith knows the deal. A team win is hugely important, Kim.
Well, for Parker Kligerman and his crew chief, Patrick Donahue, there's some debate on what to take in terms of the choose. Ultimately, they chose the outside because Patrick said, I do not know how we run them on the bottom. We lose too many spots. This way, we break up the colored cards, Marty.
Justin Allgaier 4th on the outside there, Kim. Jim Pullman, his crew chief, gave him great advice. All I know on this restart, don't get bullied, Rick.
Don't get bullied. Okay. So you need to be the aggressor.
Good luck with everybody being the aggressor.
The drivers in lane 2 are the ones going to decide this race. Whoever gets the best push and can push the car out front clear, that's going to determine, I believe.
It's overtime, presented by Credit One Bank. Nemechek on the inside. Haley on the outside. No help for Haley. They're running out of gas behind him.
That's absolutely right, Rick. We have a car out of gas that ruined the run on the outside lane.
Some falling back, some moving forward. Now John Hunter Nemechek has a car length in front of Daniel Hemrick in the 11. If they get back around to the white flag before a caution comes out, the next flag will end the race. Big run coming out of turn 4. Haley trying to get the spot back. White flag in the air one more time around.
Whatever you need to send, 1.5 off Dyson.
John Hunter Nemechek, 2 wins already this year. Looking for number 3. Daniel Hemrick with a big run.
Off. Keeping the 11.
Can't find a way around.
They splitting it. They straddling it.
John Hunter Nemechek hugging the bottom of the track. Nemechek is going to win in Atlanta.
Come on. Yeah! Attaboy, buddy. Good job.
Way to keep them up front all night. Smart driving there. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Awesome. Heck yeah! I'm pumped.
5 wins for John Hunter Nemechek. He's been a little bit of a journeyman in his NASCAR career, trying to find the best opportunity to show his talents. And that right there was a spotlight on the talent of John Hunter Nemechek. Nemechek putting an exclamation point on this win. The 26-year-old climbing out of the car. Heading over to grab the checkered flag. 3rd win this season. His last win was on the shortest track, NASCAR, at Martinsville. And Kim's right there with the winner.
And John Hunter grabbed the checkered flag, like you said, walked back to the car. What a burnout, what a race. You've won at Atlanta. Let's talk about the overtime and the restart. The College cars, they had strength in numbers. How did you hold them off?
I got a huge push from the 11 there, so thanks to Daniel for giving me that huge push. But man, hats off to all of this 20 team. Early on in the race, if you would have said that we would have won the race, I definitely would have told you that that wasn't going to be the case. We didn't have the fastest car tonight. It wasn't quite as fast as Xfinity 10G, but I'm really proud of this whole 20 team. First win for Mobil 1 with me at JGR, won with them in the Truck Series. And man, this is special. Glad Aspen and Taylor are here where you get to go celebrate. And thank you to all the fans that came out tonight. I appreciate you guys.
The track started with the sun still out and then went to darkness. How much did it change and how much were you having to keep up with what it was doing?
I don't know if the track changed a ton. We just had to keep making our car better all night. We were, you just wake up.
And his wife Taylor's gonna come join them and his daughter Aspen to celebrate in her PJs. And a high five for Dad.
Yeah, we just had to keep making our Mobil 1 Toyota GR Supra better all night. And Ben and the guys did awesome. They made the right adjustments all night, got us to where we needed to be, and came down to an overtime finish. And luckily, we were able to execute on that restart. So thank you to all the guys, men and women at Joe Gibbs Racing. I'm proud to be the one holding the wheel of this 20 car. And man, truck win for Toyota, Xfinity win for Toyota. Toyota boys have some work to do tomorrow.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
John Hunter Nemechek, a winner at Atlanta as he continues to celebrate with his family.
That's pretty